Happy New Year! Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having a good New Year's Day. Today is going to be my first video in 2018. I'm going to be reviewing the Kathleen Lights Dream Collection collab with Colourpop Cosmetics. We have a palette to review and also 3 lip colors as well. As always, I'll be doing 3 demos for you guys. I'll be giving you guys my review. I'll be showing you swatches and also some dupes as well. So if you guys want to learn a little bit more about this collection, then just continue watching. So first, let's get started with some product info. This is another collab with Kathleen Lights. So in this collection, it is called the Dream Collection. She came out with the Dream Street palette, which is $16 US, and it comes with 6 mattes, 5 metallics, and 1 satin shade. And then she came out with a lip bundle as well with 3 lip products. You can buy these separately. These are $6 each, and if you want to get them in a bundle, it is $18. So in the lip collection, the Dream Team collection, the first one is an ultra glossy lip in Moonchild. Then we have the ultra satin lip in Dreamy, and then next another ultra satin in Revere. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that wrong, but she did say in her video that it means dream in French. So that is pretty much the whole collection. Let's go ahead and get started with the review. Okay, so for the review, let's talk about the palette first because this is very exciting to me. I love Colourpop's eyeshadow palettes. So when I first started playing with this palette, I automatically noticed that this is very different from any of the other Colourpop eyeshadows. I'm talking about more of the mattes rather than the shimmers. I think the shimmers, you know, it's the same as all the other palettes, very high shine, very smooth and beautiful. For the matte shadows in here, I do think they are different. It could just be me, I could be going crazy doing too many Colourpop reviews, but I do think they are a lot different. So to you, this could be a good thing or a bad thing. The mattes are a lot more smoother, more creamy, and they are just way more pigmented. But because of this, there's a lot more fallout. So initially with a lot of the Colourpop palettes, there are a lot of kickback with all these shadows. You know, it wasn't too much of a big deal. It wasn't like a crazy amount. But with this palette, with the matte, I found that there is a lot more kickback. So to you, you might be happy like, oh yes, there's more pigment, it's more smooth, it's easier to blend out. But to some of you guys, you'll be like, oh, I hate fallout. So to me, it's not a big deal. I've never really had an issue with fallout. I mean, yeah, it's messy, but honestly, just do your eyes first. Tap off your brush. This shadow here, when I first swatched it, wow, it's so smooth. Like so smooth. Girl, I don't know if you're seeing that. Wow, the pigment in this, and it's not just this shadow as well, like all of them just feel so much more smooth and creamy and just very buttery. So I don't know, it could just be me. I could be the only person in the world thinking this, but I really do think the formula is very different with these matte shadows. To me, it's a good thing because I love that pigment in there. It's just very beautiful, creamy matte shadows to work with. Another thing I like about this palette is the range of formulas. So you get 6 mattes, 5 metallics, and 1 satin shade. I think that is such a good range to create so many different looks. I feel like in this 3 demo video is the most like versatile looks. Like they are all so different from each other, and it's like you wouldn't expect these are from the same palette. I feel like they are just so different from each other. It could just be me. You guys might think they look exactly the same. She did an amazing job with picking finishes and color selection. This whole palette is just very cohesive together. This shadow here, this one here, this one here are standout shadows. They are so unique. I haven't seen anything like it. Nothing like it in my collection. Nothing I've seen on Instagram or in the market. So I quickly want to mention 2 cons that I have with this palette. They're not really like big cons where they're gonna make you like not want to buy this palette, you know. It's just like really minor things that, you know, I thought I would mention just because it's a full-on review and I like to be very detailed with everything that I talk about. So the first con would just have to be the placement of these shadows. Like I said before, I think the mattes in this palette are very different from before. They are a lot more creamy, a bit more pigmented, and because they are more creamy and pigmented, there is a lot more kickback and a lot more fallout. So when I'm going into this shade here, it's surrounded by so many light shadows, and when you go with your brush, there's a lot of kickback. Sometimes that kickback can go into these shadows. And when they go into those shadows, it kind of like messes the shade a little bit. So for me, I would have probably taken this shade here and swapped it with Moony here. That way, or like just put it like in the corner or something where it's not gonna like get into any of the other eyeshadows. Just the thought, not a huge deal, not a make or break, you know, selling point. So that's one of the cons. And then the second con, not really a big con, is that these two shades up in the corner, this one is called Twinkle, this one is called Stardust. I do think they are quite similar. Like, I know they're very different, like honestly they're not like a dupe for each other, but they do look very similar to me. It's these two here. One is more orange than the other, but I just feel like maybe they could have put in a different color in there or something, maybe a matte black, or I don't know, anything. But I just feel like these two are like very similar to each other. I'm probably still gonna use both shades anyway because they are both very stunning, beautiful metallics. So that is pretty much all I wanted to say about the Dream Street palette. Overall, I really do like it. I would highly recommend it to you guys. It's a beautiful, beautiful palette, and the looks that you can create with this, like, it gets me excited. Like, I want to create more looks with this palette. And now we're just gonna quickly talk over the 3 lip colors that she came out with. So the first one is the Ultra Glossy Lip in Moonchild. I really thought I was going to like this one, but I don't know, I just think it's a little bit too nude, like it's too neutral for me. I like more of a gloss that has a bit of like a pinky tint to it. I honestly prefer Aquarius a lot more, but that's just what I prefer on my skin tone. And then we have the Ultra Satin Lip in Dreamy, which is the one that I'm wearing right now. I think this one is a beautiful, beautiful shade. It looks so good on the skin, this one here. Not like a nude, but it's not like a bold lip. It just looks like your lips a little bit better with a hint of pinky peach in there. An ultra satin lip, so it's not drying, it's very comfortable, it's long wearing. I really like this one on me, and it does go along with a lot of different eye looks that you would do. So this is like my favorite out of the bunch. And then we have Revere. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that wrong again, but this is the Fire Truck Orange. So for me, I personally don't like oranges on me. I'm more of like a classic red girl. I think red just really complements my skin tone, and I feel like orange, this one this one here, I know I won't get a lot of wear out of this one just because it's not my kind of shade. If I want like a really bright color, I would go for a classic red. That is pretty much it for my review. Now I want to show you guys some dupes. So the first dupe from the Dream Street palette is called Stardust. And then the dupe that I found in another Colourpop palette is in the Double Entendre palette called Draft. So I wouldn't say these two are exact dupes, but they are definitely in the same color family, and they do give off a similar vibe. The Dream Street one is a bit more red and a darker burnt orange, whereas the Double Entendre is a little bit more a lighter copper orange. And then next up from the Dream Street palette is Twinkle, and the dupe is going to be from the I Think I Love You palette, and this one is called Screw It. I think these two are very similar. I think the Dream Street one is probably a touch more like red, where the I Think I Love You one is a little bit more lighter, but again, same metallic finish, and they are very, very similar, and they give off a very similar vibe once it's on the eyes. Next up from the Dream Street palette, we are taking Sweet Dreams, and from the Femme Rosa palette, the shade is called Chick. So now these two I feel like are probably an exact dupe. They have like a really light golden base, but it's really like yellowy, like it's a really yellow gold, and the way they reflect off is very, very similar. I think the Femme Rosa one is a little bit like more powdery. It's not as metallic as the Dream Street one, but this one I feel like is a very spot on dupe. And then next up from the Dream Street palette, this one is called Potion, and the dupe is from the Yes Please palette in GNO. I feel like the Yes Please one is a little bit more orange, and the Dream Street one is a little bit more red, but they do have that similar undertone, and they do again give off the same kind of vibe. And then the next couple of dupes are not really dupes, but I do want to compare them because when I first saw these shadows in the Dream Street palette, automatically reminded me of the My Little Pony palette. So from the Dream Street palette, when I saw Kaleidoscope, when I swatched Kaleidoscope, It really reminded me of these two shadows in the My Little Pony palette. It reminded me of Firefly and Snuzzle. They are actually very, very different. Firefly and Snuzzle is the whole reason why I recommended the My Little Pony palette. I thought these two shades were just so unique, and they still are. They are very beautiful, unique shades. But when you put them next to Kaleidoscope, they actually are very different. The two from the My Little Pony palette are a lot more blue, like a light sky blue, whereas the Dream Street one is a little bit like a light teal green. If that makes sense. They are very, very different, but when I was swatching them, I was like, wow, it reminded me of the My Little Pony one. When I went to go swatch it, they actually are very different. Maybe some of you guys might have had the same thought as me. And then, of course, Mermaid Boy from the Dream Street palette automatically reminded me of Princess Sparkle. So My Little Pony one is obviously a lot more like true blue, whereas Mermaid Boy from Dream Street, it's a lot more darker teal. So those were all the dupes that I had for you guys. Again, some of them were not exactly dupes, they were just more like comparing shades, but I hope you guys found that portion helpful. So that is pretty much it for this review portion. Let's go ahead and get started with the swatches and also the 3 demos. Okay, so for look number 1, we are going to start with the shade Shooting Star with my Sigma E40, and this is going to be our transition shade. I'm going to put this right into the crease using windshield wiping motions and also circular motions to further blend. Now I will be taking the shade Potion on my Morphe M433, and we're going to place this right underneath the transition in our crease, slowly building that crease up. Taking the shade Owlfish on my Colourpop E9 brush, I'm going to place this in the same place, but this is a smaller brush, so it's going to pack on more density and more darker color. Okay, and now I'm going to be taking a bit of concealer and I'm going to start carving out my crease. I'm going to carve out my whole crease this time. I haven't done this before because I'm not good at it. I'm only good at carving half my crease. So past this line, there won't be any creasing. And then I'm going to take the shade Moony on my Makeup Collective number 11 brush. This is more of a satin shade. I'm going to put this all over the concealer, kind of setting it down. And then I'll be taking the shade Sweet Dreams and applying this on top of Moony. So I just gave myself a wing liner off camera, and now I'm going to be using Owlfish on my Makeup Collective number 11 brush, and I'm going to run this all over my lower lash line. So for highlighter, I actually have one of Colourpop's Luster Dust in Know Me or Glow Me, Know Me, I don't know. I've never used a loose powder for highlight before, so this is gonna be my first time. I thought I would just show it in this video. Okay, that's not bad. I think it actually looks really pretty on the skin. It's a bit more glittery than what I typically like, but I mean, it's pretty. So this is the completed look. For lashes, I am wearing House of Lashes Serene Lite, and then for my lip color, I am wearing the Ultra Glossy Lip from the collection in Moonchild. To begin with look number 2, I'm going to take the shade Magical on my Wet n Wild Fluffy Blending Brush, and this is going to be our transition shade. Using the shade Potion on my Morphe M433, this is going into the outer V of our eyes, just blending it into the transition shade. Then I'm taking the shade Spark on my Colourpop Fluffy Blending Brush. I'm just going to kind of put this over Potion just because I really want to use this red shade, and I think it will look really good with this look as well. And then I'm just going to take the shade Owlfish on my Colourpop Small Blending Brush. I'm just going to use a tiny bit of this shade just to deepen up the outer corner, just a teeny bit. Using the shade Twinkle, this is going to be our inner corner lid shade. Using my Makeup Collective number 18 brush to apply this. I'm going to use the shade Moony to highlight my brow bone. Using the shade Potion, I'm going to run this on my lower lash line with my Makeup Collective number 11 brush. So next up, I'm going to be taking the Ultra Satin Lip, the orange one from the collection. I don't know how to pronounce the name. I'm actually going to take it on this really thin brush and just do a line on top of my wing. So this is the completed look for look number 3. The lip color that I'm wearing is the Ultra Satin Lip in Dreamy from the collection. Okay, so look number 3, I am going to start with Magical on my Wet n Wild blending brush, and this is going into my crease. Next, I'm going to take a mixture of Potion and Spark on my Colourpop blending brush, and this is going to go right beneath the previous shade. I'm putting this straight into the crease using windshield wiping motions. And then I'm going to take the shade Water Barrier, and I'm going to dab this all over my lid first and then blend it out. This shade, it does have a lot of fallout because it's so pigmented. So you want to really be careful with this eyeshadow, but I'm going to focus this really close to my lash line, and whatever is left on my brush, I'll slowly bring it up. And now I'm going to take the shade Mermaid Boy on my Makeup Collective number 11 brush, and I'm going to place this right on top all over the lid. And then I'm going to be taking the shade Kaleidoscope and I'm going to place this on the center of my eye just to give it a bit more dimension. Using Mooney to highlight my brow bone. Taking the shade Potion and Spark once again mixed together, I'm using my Makeup Collective number 11 brush, and this is going to go on our lower lash line. And then taking the shade Water Bearer, and I'm going to push this against my lower lash line. So this is look number 3 completed. The lip color that I'm wearing is Dreamy from the collection. And that, guys, is going to conclude my video for today. I hope you guys did enjoy it and found it helpful. Yay to my first video in 2018. Comment down below your thoughts on this collection. Have you guys picked it up? What do you guys think? Let me know. But yeah, that's all I got to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!